I love this show. I really do. And it just keeps getting better and better. Episode 5, it's named Broken to the Fist, and it's another 10 out of 10 episode, just like episode 4. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, please go watch it first and then come back to this video because I'm about to talk about spoilers and you don't want to hear these spoilers. This episode is really good. So first I want to talk about how I knew that her husband was still alive. Mariko's husband, they never showed him actually die. And whenever films or movies or TV shows do that, there's a pretty high chance that he survived because those scenes go a lot differently. They usually go out as like a real hero. They kind of did that, but they didn't show him die. So I was like, oh man, he might really be alive. But I didn't expect him to be back this fast the day after Mariko and Blackthorn had sex. But Mariko's husband, what is his name again? Buntado. He is a beast though. I'll give him his props. This dude was drunk. Okay, we got to talk about that dinner, but he was even drunk firing an arrow dead on. And that scene is so funny. It's so good. It's so tense and interesting. When Toranaga came up to her and was like, your husband's still alive and he'll be staying with you, I was like, oh. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for this scene. I didn't expect it. Actually, I did expect it to be in this episode, but everything is kind of happening fast, but it still has good pacing. Toranaga is trying to help out. You know, he's trying to look out for her, but at the same time, he's kind of screwing everything up because he doesn't know what's going on. And I don't know the repercussions of Mariko if other people find out that she did it with Blackthorn. And we finally learn her family's past and why her family is hated. So imagine if people found out she had sex with Blackthorn. They'd probably hate her even more. But that's why I can't wait to see Mariko's character development throughout the show as Blackthorn kind of indoctrinates her. And it's not like he's indoctrinating her to like bad ideals and morals. He's telling her the right things. It's just that Japan in this time was really strict and messed up a little bit. So they're not used to these morals and things that, you know, the Portuguese are or the Western civilization is. You know, they're not beating their women. I mean, of course, there were people still doing that, but Blackthorn, there were good men. Blackthorn, he sees that there's something wrong with that, and he's trying to help Mariko. But she just tells him, man, you don't know anything or how anything works over here. And that even speaks to the scene where Blackthorn is like, why did y'all kill this old man just because I told you not to touch? I didn't mean literally kill him, that if somebody touches this, they have to die. And that's the difference because words, the meaning behind words were so serious in Japan. They were so serious over there during that time that he realizes, okay, this place is way more strict, way more serious than where I'm from, so I need to choose my words a little carefully, and hopefully he does from now on. So yeah, that's the thing I need to give this show props the most for, that and the translation stuff. They do a great job illustrating the language barrier and the disconnect between the languages and how serious the words are, to where if you say something, that's what you mean. Before that very awkward dinner, though, it was very surprising to see Toranaga be so calm with his son. I thought we'd see him kind of get really angry for once, which he did, but he's a very level-headed guy. He's the type that doesn't get stuck on what just happened in the past. He just sucks it up and keeps moving. And his actor does such a good job at showing that. For example, another good way they show that is when later on that earthquake happens and the landslide happens. And, you know, I don't know how much of his army he lost, but he's clearly going to lose a lot of his army due to that landslide. And he falls down and Blackthorn saves him and gives him the swords. He immediately starts laughing and cracking up. And to me, it showed that he's, okay, we're ready for the next step no matter what. We got to suck this up and keep moving. There's not much he can do besides accept his fate, and I think he already knew they were going to go to war anyways, so when his son did that, he was kind of like, okay, he just made the process faster instead of postponing it any longer. But okay, back to the awkward dinner scene, man. I was giggling. I was cracking up during this scene the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. The dialogue and the writing is so good in this entire show, including the acting. I couldn't wait to see how Blackthorn was going to interact with Mariko's husband. And it was just so cool to see him deliver all the lines that I would expect him to. And it just made it even more enjoyable. For a second, I wanted them to low-key become friends, but I know that would never happen. I mean, maybe, but we'll have to see. I have a feeling we're going to get a situation to where her husband is going to actually end up saving Blackthorn, but if not, he's going to end up finding out that Blackthorn slept with his wife, and then him and Blackthorn are going to fight to the death. It's one or the other. Leave a comment, though, in the description. No spoilers, because I know this was a book first. Leave a comment about what y'all think is going to happen. But it's very ironic how her husband calls him the barbarian. It doesn't even realize that he's acting like one. The way he treats Mariko is so bad. I feel like he does it out of love, even though he does not really show that very well. And another question I have, I might have missed this detail, but my question is, was Mariko married off to him, or did they fall in love? Based on what she explained, I think she was married off, but let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again. But this show goes to show again how strict the rules are and how each character follows the rules to the T. And if they break the rules, they either apologize by saying, please kill me, or some huge sacrifice, or they apologize. So for example, Buntaro is beating Mariko, and so Blackthorn finds out about it. Apparently you're not supposed to disturb the Anjin's peace or disturb the Anjin in his house. So when he finds out Mariko is being beat and he goes to confront Buntaro, he's actually apologizing, and that was very surprising to see. Good thing Blackthorn is smart enough to bring his gun. He knows and sees how elite that dude is, and he knows that he would kill him in a sword fight or if he shot a bow and arrow at him. But, you know, Blackthorn's pride, I don't think he would ever back down from a fight, but he did bring his pistol. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? And he apologizes and he's yelling at him like, sake is your excuse, so you got drunk, and this is your excuse to beat your wife and disturb my house. And then he sees that everybody else is being disturbed, and he's like, okay, I'll just leave this dude alone. And him and Mariko go talk later. So even though he has no respect for Blackthorn, he still shows respect because he has to follow the rules. But we all know who Mariko really wants to be the man of the house, and that's Blackthorn. And I hope we see that happen later on in the story, but I don't think the story is going to have a happy ending. Unfortunately, the more realistic shows do not have happy endings, but a happy ending would be Mariko and Blackthorn together at the end of the day. There's one thing I don't like about this episode, and it has nothing to do with the writing or characters or anything. It's actually this camera that they use. I don't know exactly how the technology works, but it's this weird focus. I've seen the focus when, you know, it blurs the background and the people that's in the foreground are what's visible and the background is blurred. But sometimes the background does this weird circle thing, circlish, like it distorts the background, the blur, and it's very weird. I wonder why they do that. It kind of throws me off, or rather it just be the normal one. I don't know if it's the camera they're using, multiple different cameras, but that throws me off a little bit sometimes. I really fear for Toranaga though. I don't want him to die, even though I think he will by the end of the story. He slid in that landslide, and I got really scared for him then, but I kind of knew he wouldn't be dead. And I really want to know how many troops he actually really lost, because this could really turn the tables. Everything was going good. He came back with a huge army, and now they're all... hopefully they're not all gone, but a lot of that place was destroyed. Another thing I like is that they go into a little bit more depth with the spies. They actually, because in Game of Thrones, there was always just, oh, I have my spies, you know? It was never any proof or like, how are the spies? Where are they at? And I think I like that they do at least go into a little bit of detail about the spies. And I really wish Yabushige, man, would just stop being a cocksucker, a douchebag, and just team up and be fully loyal to Toranaga. I really want to like his character, but now he's looking just like a straight up bad guy. Realistically, he just wants to stay alive, and he's trying to play both sides. Toranaga has to keep him around, but Toranaga is too smart for him, so we'll have to see where they go with Yabushige by the end of the story. Ochiba, the lady at the end, her voice actor in the English dub is very, very weird. She sounds like she's trying to be an anime villain, an anime over-the-top cartoon villain, and it's very weird. I'd rather her just talk normally. It's very awkward, and it kind of threw me off at the end because everybody else is doing either a very good job or a decent job at the voice acting, the voice covers for English. Another thing is that I can't wait to see how Mariko's feelings change about how things work in her land and how she's going to change as a character to end up doing things Blackthorn's way. I really think they may end up running away together by the end of the story. That would be cool. One thing I got confused on for a second was Blackthorn setting up that rock again, but I believe that was the Gardener Stone that he put back up after the landslide because, he felt bad for getting that guy killed because he didn't mean to. And so he wants to honor him any way he can, and keeping that stone up is probably the most honorable thing he can do. All right, let me know what you guys thought in the comments about this episode. I loved it, and I hope you did too. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and I will see you guys on the next Shogun episode. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.